9 years after Anne Frank died, a girl called Barbara was born. When she was just 3 years old, she started telling her parents that her parents are not her real parents and that her name was Anne Frank. Her parents thought this was just a random fantasy that she had, but when she turned 9 years old, they took her to Europe, specifically to Amsterdam. Her parents were struggling to find the Anne Frank house despite having a map for it, but Barbaro decided to guide them through the streets at that age, saying that it was her house, her colony, and she knew it really well. Mind you, her family did not know anything about Anne Frank, and neither had they ever been to Amsterdam. The staff at the Anne Frank house remembers her pointing towards the pictures and quoting exact instances of when these pictures were taken. This is one of the most famous cases of reincarnation, and it comes from a child. And I think that's why the Hindi saying goes, "Bacche man ke sache," because they do not lie. They do not have the capacity to lie or make up stories. Even though we think that children make up stories, I think adults make up more stories than children. So today let's read and react together to these creepy things that kids have said to their parents that might actually question reality. This one is a little like spooky, it's a horror thing. We had just moved into an old farmhouse when one night my 3-year-old at the time pointed at the glass door and asked why the other mummy was there. I looked and couldn't see anything and asked what she looked like. My 3-year-old proceeded to explain that the other mummy was dirty and muddy and had blue lips and blonde hair. I kind of froze because we were home alone together. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And he says, yes, she lives underground. She said she had a good boy like me once. It made my stomach drop and I took him to my room and locked the door. Haha. Next question that comes related to this particular reply is that there could be a body under the farmhouse, because she said that this was an old farmhouse, and the most possible explanation to this is that there must be some dead body under which the kid can sense. Kids and animals, I think, are really good at sensing energies, sensing people, sensing ghosts, and they can see a lot of it more than us actually, because they're so naive and so innocent. When we grow up, we lose that power to be able to see and connect with things. That's why they say that the highest form of spirituality is being childlike, because when you are like a kid, you are seeing everything with a different perspective, like how kids do it. It's very fresh to you. Everything is very fresh. You're able to connect with nature, connect with all these entities which are also there. Somebody actually asked, have you found a body under the house yet? And then she replied that no, but who knows, it was a big property, hundreds of acres. My son mentioned the other mummy coming to visit on multiple occasions while we lived there. They should actually dig deeper. Not literally. My 2-year-old saw me organizing my basketball cards. He tottered over and said, when I was big, I used to buy those for you. My dad bought me those cards 25 years ago, shortly before he passed away. You know, the cool thing about what kids actually say is that they are verifiable with some other theories that already exist. Like when it comes to the reincarnation theory, a lot of cultures, even in India, believe that the reincarnation process keeps happening in the same family, which means you keep coming back to the same souls or the same people, but the roles change. So maybe if your mother was your sister in your past life or something like that, your enemy is your lover in this life. I mean, it sounds like one of those books. You might also hear kids say such stuff to you, irrespective of whether you are a parent or not. You need to know that they might not be wrong. You might be really scared to accept what they are saying. Once my son looked at me and said, oh, you're having a baby. I had just found out I was expecting and hadn't told anyone. I asked him why he had said that, and he just shrugged and said, just a feeling. I miscarried less than a week later, and he looked at me randomly and said, oh, no more baby. The pregnancy, miscarriage, etc. had never been discussed around or to him. It was so strange. Kids and animals, the reason they can sense all this stuff is because they have not been fed any thoughts yet. Children are also not scared of anything. This is a little off topic, but children are also not scared of anything. Babies are not scared of anything, not of any animal, not of fire, not of water, because they are not told that they're supposed to be scared of it. It's all us feeding them the mindset that you're supposed to be scared of this, and that's why they grow up to lose all these abilities that they have as a child. So I believe that children are very intuitive. They can see through things. They know exactly what's happening, just like animals know when you're expecting a child. Mommy, can we sleep with the TV on? I don't want the big people to watch us sleep again. The night before, I had a terrible nightmare that aliens were watching us sleep. It was almost like an out of body experience because I could see us in bed and my bedroom exactly how I left it that night. At first, I didn't think anything of it until she said that, and then I realized maybe it wasn't a dream. She was only 2 at that time. A 2-year-old cannot make this up. The first time I learned about sleep paralysis as a thing was when I saw Ranveer Alabadia's video on his sleep paralysis, and it was his first video that I saw, and the last video. My niece had never met my dad, her granddad, as he had passed away the year before she was born. When she was 3 years old, she pointed at the corner that his walking stick used to sit in, waved and said, "Hiya, granddad," with the biggest smile on her face. It was the creepiest and sweetest thing I had ever seen. You know, the crazy thing is that children, as I said, they don't get scared of all this stuff. If you were able to see your granddad standing in the corner of the room, you would actually freak out and me, look at the kids, they're playing baseball. My toddler daughter said this as we were passing by a cemetery with absolutely no children or baseball diamond in sight. Wait, my question is, why are the ghosts playing We always think of ghosts like standing and staring at us, but maybe they actually do play baseball. When my son was little, he never liked his toenails being trimmed. He used to go grey and physically shake. Proper panic attack. He said it's because when he was a soldier, he had his toenails pulled off. Just like Anne Frank's case, like the Anne Frank reincarnation case, which is one of the most famous reincarnation cases that are there. Maybe this kid is not lying. I mean, maybe all of this, if you track it down somewhere, if you find out who this person is, you will find out that there was a person who existed like this. I don't have the tweet with me here, but someone tweeted that they actually tracked down the person who their kid was saying he was in his past life, and turns out it was a real person. They met his family, and the kid was like, "This is my family, these are my parents, these are my real parents." We have a very diminished perspective on our life. We think that, okay, we live life and then we go, and then there's nothing after that. How can there be nothing after that? I think you're not a human having a spiritual experience, but you are a soul having a human experience. My son was 4. He told me one night while driving home that when we die, our glow insides, which he meant soul, go up to the stars and wait until the right time, and then they come back to learn lessons with different people. He said he picked me to be his mom. A 4-year-old cannot be expected to say that you come back to life and learn lessons with different people. That is too much wisdom for a 4-year-old, don't you think? I remember my teacher also telling me that earlier humans and animals and trees, everyone used to be able to talk to each other. And this might sound really funny, it might sound like it's from some Panchatantra story, but you know what? It might actually be true. The reason is because we were so connected to nature, we were always in nature, we always reciprocated what the nature gave to us. We never spoiled the nature. And now we all live in houses that look like boxes. We are so disconnected with people, let alone nature. We have a problem with animals, we have a problem with kids. We are disconnected with nature and we cannot understand what other beings are trying to tell us. While kids can, because kids are never born cruel. Nobody is born cruel, nobody is born evil. Everyone is taught to hate, everyone is taught to fear. I usually have end quotes for my videos, and I don't have an end quote for this one, but I have something interesting to say. Every kid on this list is dead honest, and the only lie which is being told here is the one that you tell to yourself every single day, that these things exist, these things don't exist, and especially when you walk past a cemetery and you don't look back twice.